I'm so delighted you have returned solely to listen to my tales of a world long forgotten. You would not lie to me, as that would be immoral, would you? It would be as immoral as a man stealing for his own greed. I know my audience is honest, and that you are good folk who choose to protect the ones you love, and probably your family too. I am so touched that this reminds me of the tale between two iconic factions from the other world that would be perfect for my generous audience. Without further ado, let me again carve open the window into the world of Ramble Shamble.
Welcome to another episode of Ramble Shamble. Today, we are joined once again by Mackie, and I am your host, Jotun.
Hello.
So, Mackie, tell me how you're doing.
Doing well, eh? Recently had my COVID booster shot. Felt like crap the next day. Excuse the language if you guys find that offensive. But yeah, got the booster COVID shot. Can't hurt. Does have different symptoms according to different people, but I'm happy that I've done it. It's now in the past.
Yeah, it's quite important. Like, we have to make sure that we're all healthy and ready to go. I myself didn't really get any symptoms. A bit of a pinprick that I felt on my shoulder for like maybe the rest of the night, but after that I was smooth sailing, golden.
No, I'm very jealous of you, eh? Because, look, there's a lot more people that get a little bit more of more symptoms. But for me, I just like woke up the next day completely drained. Like there was just like a weight in my brain, and that happened with both shots so far. Like the next day, I just felt like, jeez, I just want to sleep and sleep for the whole day. And it's not the most fun, but I do know a lot of my other colleagues that have had the COVID shot, the first one at least. It depends obviously on the strength of which one you choose, but they had body aches and they just were very uncomfortable. Fortunately for me, like, look, I'll take just feeling tired for one day and then feeling amazing the next day over feeling like, ow, ooh, kind of feelings of soreness.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, that was really cool.
Yeah. But this is going to go further into the episode, and you can find us on our other social medias, which are.
Yes, guys, please join our different social medias. There's a Discord channel that we would love you guys to come and be a part of, chat about our different episodes or chat about different things. We're very open. We like being creative. Even some gaming ideas, some suggestions for next videos, and possibly different topics that we can speak about in the future. We also we'll have a YouTube videos that you're also able to comment and chat to us through there, and as well as Twitter and other social medias that will come further down the line. Again, guys, if you have not listened to our previous episodes, please make use of them. Listen to them. There might be an episode, maybe this episode topic does not pique your interest. Maybe there's another one that you might find a bit more interest in. And again, guys, we are quite a array of topics that we touch on. We're not just a food channel or a geek channel. We like to touch on a lot of topics that interest us, and perhaps maybe they interest you. So again, look for the other episodes, see if there's one of interest, and please comment about what you think about it, and we will read it and hear what you have to say.
Yes, we will. And remember, those comments that you do leave, we choose one of them because we'll be asking you a question, of course. We will be choosing one of your responses for a little snippet compared to this episode that will be part of a separate playlist called Ramble Shrapnel. So one of you lucky people for each episode will feature in that shorter clip. Okay, but anyway, for today's topic, I thought that it was only reasonable, since we are recording this in the month of May, to talk about something to do with Star Wars. Now, everybody knows about May the 4th be with you and Revenge or Rise of the 5th. And now, because of The Mandalorian, there is also This is the May. And so I now view the entirety of May as Star Wars month for myself, just to catch up on some things, dive a bit deeper into the lore. But I've also been pretty introspective and philosophical of late. So I decided that the topic for today is going to be Mackie and I talking about the light and the dark side of the Force. And we'll be motivating for either of those two options. Now, I've known Mackie for over 2 decades, and I know that he always, to a fault, like it's actually irritating, will do the good guy thing inside of video games. If he has a moral choice, he'll do the good thing. If you're downed in a game and you're just like crawling, like in Gears of War, you're just like crawling on the ground, limping, then he'll be the one dude on your party that will come and like give you health and revive you. So I think I know which one he's gonna choose. So Mackie, take it away.
You nailed me to the pin. Like, oh, jeez, man. Like, it is so true. Like, every moral decision into games, I cannot help but do the good choices. I feel like, I always get that moral dilemma. Like, some games, such as Bioshock, especially, where you kill the little girl. Sorry, it is killing to gain more power, but if you kill the girl, then you get the bad ending. And or like even like Star Wars games or Black and White. There's a whole bunch of games, and I always tend to lean more to the good side. And in a way, I enjoy it, basically because of the fact that it makes the game more challenging. Because most situations that I come across where you have 700 gold and the NPC needs 500 of it to feed his family, his virtual family, that's actually not even real. But you also need 400 for a new sword. So do you not do that? Do you not? I tend to always give the gold and make my life like a lot harder than it needs to be. But I enjoy that challenge. That challenge is not. It makes the game a little bit harder, and I enjoy doing the good thing. I will say that there are some games like where I said, let me try to do the bad thing, and I just feel so horrible afterwards. So yeah, you nailed me right in the head there. You definitely know I'm gonna pick Jedi way over the Sith if I ever get the option.
And would you kindly tell me, do you ever like loot or pickpocket from people, or just like kind of sometimes cause havoc inside of a city? Because like you can you can piss off the guards pretty easily inside of Skyrim, for example, and they will pretty much take you down if you're low level. So, do you ever do illicit things that aren't explicitly moral decisions inside of games?
Yes, I will say more yes than no. I mainly do that when I'm a encounter a bug of some kind. So say like an NPC is meant to give you something, or say part of the mission says get this item from the NPC, and your two options is A, kill that NPC, B, steal from the NPC, or three, C, bribe the NPC. So obviously the bribing would be the more moral thing. I tend to do the middle ground thing because killing is very evil, and I'm going to get a lot more hassles from the guards and stuff. It would be the quickest, don't get me wrong, but I like the challenge of like stealing. So stealing is in like video games or looting. I like to try to get away with it. That is something I would do. But if it's to like if the game is smart enough to say if you steal this food, this family will starve, then I'll say yeah, it's not necessary. I the hero can starve because I have health potions. I can always regenerate the health. But the NPCs will starve to death, and then I walk past and said, "Someone stole their food." I'm like, oh well.
Hmm. So you like to game the system. You
Exactly.
would you would you would be the guy that just puts the bucket on the tavern keeper's or the
Exactly.
shopkeeper's head.
Hey,
Makes
if
sense.
it's there, then sure, it won't impact. But like, even if I were to steal something small, because I have to get it for the quest, and I don't want to trick. Like Skyrim's a perfect example where the map is massive, and if I don't want to like, if I need to first do a quest for this guy, but this quest is going to take me to the other side of the map, and it's something small, little side quest, I might just steal it from him just to complete the quest.
So tell us about the Jedi.
So yeah, the Jedi I really feel more attuned to, eh? Let me start the Jedi Code because I'm pretty sure the Sith are the same. The code is basically the heart and soul of who the Jedi are. Let me read it out. Very brief, don't worry, it's not a long one. There's no emotion, there's peace. There's no ignorance, there's knowledge. There's no passion, there's serenity. There's no chaos, there's harmony. There's no death, there's the Force. And something why I really think that really embodies the Jedi. So for everyone at home who doesn't know what Star Wars is, it's basically a very far future of a possible future where, well, not really a possible future for us. Maybe it is, but a very far future scenario where space travel is a thing. And what makes Star Wars different to Star Trek, which please don't get those two confused, they're not the same. They're not, although they do have similarities where the aliens and space travel, exploration, etc. Star Wars is a bit more different because in that way, they're not really necessarily exploring the universe. They're more trying to bring peace to the universe. And there's two sides, the Sith and the Jedi. Sith are the more of the darker side, and the Jedi are peacekeepers. They see the universe as to protect, and what makes the Jedi special or unique compared to other races is that they're able to tune into a mysterious energy which is called the Force that exists all around this universe of Star Wars.
In us, around us, it penetrates us.
Exactly. So all Jedi, not just Jedi, but certain beings have ability to attune to this Force and either channel it through them, bend it, and with this they're able to like lift giant structures, produce lightning out of their fingers. They're able to do amazing powers. And I like the comparison that some people who don't like Star Wars too much, they say it's just space wizards. Just think space wizards.
Well, technically Star Trek
Nice one.
I'm Afrikaans, okay? Technically Star Wars is science fantasy.
No, 100%. No, and that's definitely such a perfect representation, science fantasy, and that's why I enjoy Star Wars more than Star Trek. I know very little of Star Trek. Don't get me wrong, I can watch it, but I love the fantasy side of Star Wars. That attracts me most. But enough exploration to Star Wars. Basically, the reason why I chose Jedi is that they're protectors, and how Jotun has described me before. If I'm in a gaming party, I'm generally the guy that will go to protect the person when he's down or go bring him back up. So definitely I feel more tuned towards what the Jedi Code is based on, is that they are peacekeepers. They don't let emotion run away from them, so they don't let the anger or sadness bring them to do things that are irreversible. They are very logical to the kind of situations that they come across, and basically they channel the Force through them. They don't necessarily bend the Force. They very much like monks. That's the closest representation or comparison I can say. Besides them shaving off their hairs and going to the middle of the mountains and learning how to do karate, although Jedis can do pretty amazing backflips if you have not seen them fight. And I just think the Jedis are
that's just Yoda. Just a freak of nature.
Yeah, that is true. And
have you ever seen the final rendering of Yoda doing those crazy flips in episode 3? It looks so bad. They took a really, really rough character model, added almost no movements to his body parts. It looks like he's rotating around an axis on his head, and it looks like a toy that's like doing flips. It is so ridiculous.
Yeah, it is very ridiculous. I didn't see that, but I did see where they did attempt to make Yoda as like creature, or his placement was a monkey. So they tried to get a monkey to be Yoda, just to be a placeholder, and it didn't turn out too well. As you can imagine, you can't really negotiate with a monkey to say, please do this, or please come this way. The monkey does what it wants to do.
I just thought, we watched George of the Jungle when we were really
small.
All of those gorillas.
Exactly.
Those animatronic gorillas.
But yeah, in total, I think the Jedi they attune to my personality and my being more than what the Sith are. The Sith tend to be a little bit more greedy, more self-driven, and I like the fact that the Jedis are like, they look after whoever needs the help. They don't distinguish. They have no problems of who does what. They just focus on protecting and maintaining peace and growing knowledge and not letting emotion run away from you. So in general, that's why I would tune. If I had the option between A and B, I would definitely choose the Jedi over the Sith.
So there we have the Jedi on the one hand. Now, going to present to you the awesome people, the Sith. Okay, so just like Mackie, I think that the core principles of any kind of order or ideology should be succinctly put in some kind of code. And so, although I'll get to the Sith Code a little bit later, I want to start you guys off with an amazing quote from Darth Vader. This you can find on Wikipedia. It's literally the first thing that they present as well, but it is so poignant. Anger and pain are natural and part of growth. They give you focus. They make you strong. That's just beautiful. Okay, so the Sith are driven by their emotions, including hate, anger, and greed. They were deceptive and obsessed with gaining power no matter the cost. They focused on primal emotions like anger and pain in order to gain power from the dark side. Wait, I didn't say that right. The dark side.
Much better.
Oh, you do such a better Palpatine. I can't channel that kind of. I can't channel Palpatine like that. So, say it again.
Join me to the dark side.
My gosh. Okay, you flopped the second time there.
I'm sorry.
Still better than me. Okay. So, just a brief little history. About 5,000 years before the Star Wars movies happened, so before the Battle of Yavin, there was like a schism in the First Order of Jedi, who were not Jedi and Sith yet. They were like one group, where they split then into the Jedi and Sith as we know it, and it culminated in the Old Republic's collapse. Because of the constant infighting and the ruin made by the last war, the Sith were rendered basically extinct, except for one survivor, Darth Bane. And he survived the Order's destruction with his one apprentice, Darth Vader. Gets important when we talk about the rule of two. But the Sith Code, this is beautiful, people. I want you to listen to this because it is so true. Like, there is life and meaning in this. Okay, except the first part, I'll grant you that. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me. How beautiful is that, Mackie?
I will say it is beautiful. It's very well worded. You can tell that there's like emotion behind those words. Unlike the Jedi Code, which is very like it's just words on a piece of paper. I will grant you that.
Like the Jedi Code smacks of Zen Buddhism to me.
Exactly, 100%. I cannot disagree with that. Although I like the difference between one key factor between the Sith Code and the Jedi Code is that when you hear where, like example, there's no ignorance, there's knowledge, and then on your side there's passion. Through passion I gain strength. I gain. So it's you can tell it's like I'm in the situation for me and not for anyone else.
Yeah, well, it's like the two different kinds of meditation as well. This is like, I think, not Zen. Geez, I forget. But this is like the kind of meditation where they say focus on your breathing and then focus on what your hands are feeling and then try to listen around you, which is the kind of meditation that I like to do. But your one is more like the meditation, I think it's transcendental meditation, where the goal is still to get out of your own thoughts, but by focusing only on the environment around you. So, and then like feeling one with the universe and other like quackery like that. But yeah, so it definitely seems like the Jedi try to focus on their external reality, where the Sith try to focus on themselves and their own being.
Very true.
But the Sith, the reason why they call the side of the Force that they aim towards the dark side is because they related the dark side kind of how we relate to dark matter and dark energy and the dark ages. It simply means that we don't know a lot about it. We're unenlightened about it. So when they say the dark side, they mean those like hidden parts of the force that have all of the power and that can grant you mastery of everything. So that's what they mean by the dark. The clothing they wore was to obscure their identity and help them hide a little bit more. And they also felt that being hidden in that way made it easier for them to impose order and such on the universe around them, or the galaxy, I suppose. Okay, so I am going to go straight into the Sith Code. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. A great quote by some Sith is that conflict forces us or forces one to better oneself. It forces change, adaptation, evolution, or death. And so the Sith viewed the peace of the Jedi as mean conflict or an agent of stagnation. But they believed that conflict was the source of progress for both single beings and civilization. So they thought that innovation comes through conflict and passion and lust.
Yeah. First off, I have to say it's really interesting how the Sith Code is that one line. So just a quick comparison. Peace is a lie. There's only passion. And then you have the Jedi Code. There's no emotion. There's peace. It's so interesting that there's such a direct oppositions of the flip of the two contradicting ideas. Where I will agree, emotion is important, but it really is it's interesting to see how much there's complete opposites between these two codes. And yo, jeez.
Yeah, they were just masters, man. Even their wording and everything. Like the rhetoric, it's so great. Um, they're basically like the ancient Spartans. People were raised to be like just really cocksure and cocky with their words, but also to say it in with as few words as possible. So, for example, when Philip of Macedon sent to King Leonidas, he sent to him, surrender or our forces will come and, no, it's something like, if you don't surrender, our forces will come and invade you and demolish you. The only response that Leonidas sent back to Philip was the single word, if. Surely the quote is better, but they were just such smart asses.
They
It's like
were.
also with King Xerxes, when sent to the Spartans, saying, "Our archers will blot out the sun." Then that the Spartans said, "Then we'll fight in the shade." Like they were such cocky little shits. Yeah. But anyway, from even that first line, because I'm a big follower of the Stoics, like Stoic philosophy, these both have different sides of Stoicism to them. In Stoicism, you are meant to not go into either deprivation or like hedonism. So you're not meant to give yourself to good or bad emotions. Like you are meant to feel your feelings, but you're meant to try to find that middle path and be just like moderate in everything you do. Nice, good, and just not go to excess in any way. And so that's more the Jedi side, which is a lot like Buddhism.
Yeah, no, definitely, I do agree with that. And the thing about the Jedi is that I think they do that a bit more extreme, to be honest, to the point where they don't want emotion at all to cloud their judgment. They tend to look. The Jedi never they discourage falling in love. They think love is emotion that is too powerful to is too much uncertainty. It will bring a lot of heartache and anger and not just like love and peace. So they tend to steer away from love. And I think Anakin's a perfect example where he had to hide his relationship, his marriage from the pretty much everyone besides his direct master Obi-Wan Kenobi just because the Jedi Council frowned upon the idea of love. So they want to kind of lock emotion away because they know it's such an easy tool when you have like so much power, like you have a nuke in your backyard, and if you're just having a really crappy day, you don't want that person to be like now shooting a nuke over to a country just because he's had a crappy day situation.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But so, next line. Through passion, I gain strength. And here's another beautiful quote to go with it. It is our goal to be strong, to achieve our potential and not rest upon our laurels. We are the seekers, not the shepherds. Challenges of old and stagnant ways. And because of this, they thought that they were in touch with the laws of nature and the universe, which is a Stoic thing because the Stoics believed that you can't blame people for acting according to their nature. Like you can't blame a starving thief who, again, well, is starving from stealing because he's just acting according to his nature in that situation. But I don't think I could do it, even though I tried to follow Stoicism. Uh, like, again, that thief is a little shit. But yeah, I think it's a very Stoic thing. What do you think, Maggie?
No, I definitely. The more I hear about these two different codes, the the more the more I'm getting a feeling of the Sith are basically angsty teens, and the Jedi are basically the parents because there's so much emotion, so much passion in the Sith codes and what they do, and it's almost like a rebellion, or they're trying to rebel according to the traditional ways of the Jedi. Because look, as cool as the Jedi are, they have a few flaws on their side, and they are overly strict, and with that, they do limit themselves to quite a bit, just because of the fact that they don't let that emotion through. I've seen a lot of articles and stuff where one of the darker sides of the Jedi is that they abduct kids. They basically abduct. They take kids who are more tuned, more sensitive to the Force at a very early age, primarily because of the fact that if they're able to train them in the way of the Force and the right ways of doing it in their particular way, there's less likely of that kid becoming a Sith later down the line. And it's a pretty strict way because you're basically stripping them of their own individuality just because you want them to focus on your particular way. So yeah, I have to give a point to the Sith in that field. That it's a very dark side of the Jedi.
Yeah, it's a critique that I'm going to bring up when I'm done with the
Oh, I've
Sith
just
here.
covered it for you. Okay.
So the next line is, through strength, I gain power. And the next beautiful quote with that is, without strife, the victory has no meaning. Without strife, one does not advance. Without strife, there is only stagnation. And I think that's just like, you will feel empty if the things that you get weren't actually fought for. And to get something meaningful is to have gone through a hard journey to get it. And the profundity of this code is amazing.
No, it is a very, like I said, very interesting, very powerful code, and it just, again, I can't stress this enough. There's just so much different. It's so different to compare to the Jedi Code, and I like the Sith Code more than the Jedi Code, to be honest. There's a lot more personality in it. There's more passion through it. The words are more powerful. It definitely
Yeah, man.
it
Just like the
expresses
Sith.
just like the Sith. Exactly that. I will give you that.
Okay, so it looks like Mackie's gonna give me green lights all the way over here. He's just explaining. So, through power, I gain victory. Unless the victory is achieved by demonstrating that your power is superior, it is only an illusion, temporary at best. We seek
Jeez.
more. So, they didn't believe that victory was just desirable. They believed that unless you proved your superiority, it was an illusion, that it would fade with time. There are, of course, different kinds of peaceful victory, sacrifice, like victory by sacrifice, or even a truth. But the Sith believed that the only was one where you proved your power was superior. Because again, otherwise it's an illusion.
It's lonely up top here.
Next line. The two following lines that complete the Sith Code are the two most beautiful for me.
Through victory, my chains are broken.
The quote that goes with that is, "One who has freed themselves from all restrictions
Has reached perfection, their potential fulfilled. Perfect strength, perfect power.
perfect destiny." The true meaning has been argued about by the Sith. So the person who quoted this, Yuthuraban, thinks that it represents,
A being's restrictions.
and it's not just like any other person inside. Well, it's not just the Sith Order. It's anyone in,
The universe.
because obviously chains restrict you. But the ultimate goal of the Sith was to free themselves from restrictions, and not just being able to do whatever they wanted. They wanted to free themselves so that they could be perfect and fulfill their own potential. They wanted perfect strength, perfect power, and perfect destiny.
This is the last line of the Sith Code. The Force shall free me.
This is the beautiful quote. "The Force is our servant and our master, our teacher and our companion, and a tool. Know it, and you know the universe. Master it, and you master the universe. Strive for perfection, and the Force..."
Shall reward you.
Geez, I just got goosebumps reading that. That is such a beautiful line.
And that's where I'll disagree with you there. Look, I really like the Sith Code to the last three lines, or the last ones that you were very goo goo gaga for. I dislike the idea that the Force is a tool, basically meaning that it's not a state of being. It's literally I harness it to do my bidding, and that's where I like the Jedi Code more, because even now, like even in our world or universe, I do believe that there is a power, as something that brings, that's something that just coexists with us, and harnessing the dark power just to try satisfy an empty world, because basically the Sith have quite a bit of emptiness to them, because they're never satisfied. They're always trying to get the more power situation. And that, for me, in the long term, I like the Jedi more just for that, because they are satisfied for what they have and not what they deem that is not enough.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that note. It's a lot like the Jedi. What they strive for is the kind of, when you try to sacrifice of yourself, then there's like, yeah, a peace and a warmth that surrounds you. And but the thing about that is that, like, it's actually attainable. But the Sith, I mean, you'll never, it's a good thing to,
Have an ambition.
yeah, and be
Yeah.
ambitious and to want to improve yourself the whole time. But the fact is that you'll never be able to reach that perfection. And so if your perfection is based on,
Power, death, and destruction.
then that's a problem, because after a while you're going to be a king amidst the world of,
Destruction.
and I think that's one side where the Sith do not do so well. But this is exemplified by a few
Practices of the Sith.
before, like the Star Wars movies, which is in the period of the Rule of Two. There was something called the Forced Dyad, and the doctrine of the Dyad came from this belief in a powerful force bond connecting two specific force sensitives, and that this bond could transcend their physical beings when combined in one presence in the force. They thought that through this kind of bond, rare abilities could be acquired, and that it was unattainable without that kind of connection with another person. So it's like being greater than the sum of their parts. But over the generations, the Sith tried to attain that kind of power through their own willpower, just like strength, like wanting it. But it didn't really happen, even though they thought that this would be the ultimate, almost messianic figure in the Force. They viewed that as true limitless power, bringing people back to life and all of that kind of stuff. But later, when because of that huge conflict that happened when the Sith Order was started, there was a new law, Rule 2,
which is what we see in the actual Star Wars movies.
which was a philosophy established by that one survivor, Darth Vader. It mandated that there were only two Sith Lords that could exist at any given time: a master to represent the pure power of the Force, and an apprentice to crave that power and to train under the master to one day overthrow them. The rule of two ensured that the relationship between the master and apprentice was not a trustful one. The Sith adopted it as a way to purify the weak and to become stronger over time. That's a very Spartan thing, like purifying the weak. Except that the Spartans would just like chuck babies over cliffs and things to get rid of that.
Oh, Viltrumites from Invincible.
Oh yeah, exactly. Just like get rid
Exactly.
of them, man. Cull
Yeah,
the
exactly.
chaff. But the one good side about the rule of two was that because the Force prolonged your life a really long time, whenever a Sith actually whenever the apprentice overthrew the master, it was that the apprentice was actually stronger than the master. And that's why Darth Sidious was so ridiculously powerful by the time that the Empire came about. But yeah, so that was clearly a bit of a flawed thing about the the Sith, just like murdering each other to get better all the time. But I have a flaw that I have learned about the Jedi
Okay.
for you, Mackie, and that is that the Jedi are basically a cult. Like they take you from like the age of 4 or 5 to the Jedi Order. They discourage any kind of I guess friendship is allowed, but you're not allowed to love people. You're not allowed to go into any kind of excess in enjoying things. You've just got to be placid all the time. And if any of you are interested and look into this, if you read up on what techniques cults employ to keep their members docile, you'll see that that is the Jedi Order to a T.
Look,
Yeah.
that is a truth that the Jedi do have on their side. I won't be hiding that kind of fact. I'm not fighting for them in that sense. It's part of the reason why
all
they.
of a sudden, the picture of the Jedi wearing hooded robes
Oh.
inside of
Oh, like the
closed
Sith
council
don't wear.
chambers
It's like the
makes
Sith
a
don't
lot
do that
of-
either.
Makes a lot of sense, doesn't
The Sith wear
it?
hooded robes, they wear black hooded robes, and they do have their little cults on meetings to say, how do we defeat the world, or how do we destroy universes or planets to bend the people to my will? Yeah, that's also pretty culty, so don't think that you're all high and
The
mighty
Sith-
now because you say, oh, the Jedi take kids from this situation. Yeah, well, the Sith physically kill kids. So,
Yeah, well, okay, but the Sith are a bit cooler about how
yeah,
they
they're
do it,
more
okay?
open.
Whenever you see a scene of the Sith like in the dark somewhere inside again, well, a closed council chamber, there'll always be like this awesome deep men voices just going like
Oh, no.
like just in the background, like deep a cappella male voices. It's just like it seethes with coolness. Whereas with the Jedi, it's just like chill, quiet, like no one says anything before proceedings happen. But the Sith, they have pathos and atmosphere.
And that's why I
But
do
anyway.
agree with you, because look, the Jedi's strict nature and one of the other flaws with the Jedi is that they're very reactive rather than proactive, and that bred or inspired the Sith to grow, to form their own way of doing things. Because, like any society, there's going to be rebellion, and how I view the Sith is that the Sith were disliking the code or disliking the way that this is the only way we should use the Force, and they broke away from it. So they rebelled. That's why I compare them to angsty teens in a way, because they rebelled to the how they were brought up, and how the Jedi keep kind of almost messing up. Because again, as a very admirable trait of a Jedi is that they are protectors, but they never instigate fighting. And the Sith are, well, many reasons why Jedi's convert towards the dark side is that they see injustice being done, but because there's no infighting, they can't intervene. They can be negotiators, but they can't take down an obvious evil. They will see like a smuggler smuggling people. He's not hurting the people. Jedi can intervene, but it's frowned upon. And I think that part of that reason, part of that kind of restricting that this is the way, like the Mandalorian, this is the way, inspires that inspires the Jedi to kind of revert outwards. They start branching and start exploring. And part of the reasons why Anakin probably turned to the dark side is that the Force, although he wanted power to save his love, he can't really question anything. It's very frowned upon if you start questioning how things are done. Why do we do this? Why don't we intervene? And the Jedi's common response is that it's not the way. And I will say that is part of the bigger reasons why Sith come there. But now I have a counter argument. You think the Sith are so cool, but the way they bend the Force hits them in a very unique way. They basically, when they start falling or going into the dark side, they start feeling the dark side. They're basically tainting their soul, their mind, and as well as their physical body, to the point where Darth Sidious, he became like a crippled old man because of the fact that how much the Dark Force corrupts the soul, the mind, and the body, to the point that even Sith lose control of themselves. So they basically, the power is too much for them to handle, and their body degrades, their minds just go crazy with rage and just go haywire, and basically reducing their lifespan. What do you say for that?
I disagree. I think Sidious looked like an old man because he was an old man.
But that,
I think that he just aged.
no, but that's the thing. The Force.
I don't think
the articles I've read is basically the Dark Force, because it's such an evil power. It actually degraded his body. That's some of the articles I read, and that's interesting.
all I can say is live fast and die young, my friend. But I don't think that it's like degraded his mind, because he was a ridiculously clever mastermind. He managed to get Anakin, who was being groomed to be the light side of the Force's, like, balance of the Force, their messiah, to become one for the dark side instead. But then also he orchestrated this massive scale overthrow of the Republic and took that power for himself. So I don't think that he went backwards.
No, I think I do agree. Sidious is an example of the mind still being sane, but Anakin, when he started really feeling the dark side, really getting the power, he was so blinded with rage that he ended up killing his wife. So the whole point of him getting more power to stop a future vision that he had, or to kind of end it and kill his wife, because he was so out of control with rage. Obi-Wan was trying to like say, relax, she's fine, she's with me, and just the fact that she was with him brought so much rage into his eyes, and he lost control and basically killed her.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a fault of the mind. I think that's fault of his emotions. But let me tell you what would make me a Sith if I were raised a Jedi. I think it's the line from the Jedi Code, which says, there is no ignorance, there is knowledge. And where The Sith counter argue against that is that they say, give me a second again. They say whatever the part about the dark side where
It mentions that we don't know about it.
there are hidden elements of the Force. I think that that's why I would become a Sith, because Jedi just prescribe to you this is what we know, and there is nothing else. But with the Sith, they think that there is something. I only have to go and find it, and that's why I would be a Sith. But I agree, and like I go with the Sith just because
I presented the option of Jedi or Sith.
but I don't think that the Sith are perfect either. So I would probably fall somewhere in between.
Grey Jedi.
Probably a grey Jedi, except a bit more self-centered. So like, I wouldn't back away from using the Force to my own advantage. And I don't like. I would
Probably not be into the whole idea of
the Force and connecting with the Force like some kind of penniless hippie. I don't think that I would have some kind of fundamental ideology like some great. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. Look, the Jedi, as cool as they are, like the Sith, I think the Grey Jedis they speak way more to me being me, because they believe that there is a balance between the Jedi Code and the Sith Code. And I think that speaks to both me and you, where we really believe in life that there's an equilibrium. Yes, we shouldn't let emotions run away with us, but it doesn't mean that we should not be emotional to kind of feel things or stand up for what we believe in. And I think that's why the Grey Jedi has become a Grey Jedi in the end of the days, because yes, they line more to the Jedi, but an example is that they don't believe that there's an evil force power. It's how you use it. So if you use the power to kill, obviously that's dark. But if you use the power to heal, then that's light. But it's how you use the Force, not necessarily dark and
So you're telling me that the Force is a
no,
tool?
because no. I say I agree with how they see it, but I think that it's a coexistence. Like, yes, you can bend it, but you shouldn't bend it to the point that you are trying to control it. It's something that is there to be used, but not to be controlled. Where Sith it's there to be controlled and used. Where the Jedi see it as nothing to be controlled or used. It's something that flows through them. So, again, in between.
All I can think in my head is like Tai Chi and wind, and like people guiding wind and water and stuff when
Very
you say
true.
that. Yeah. But everybody, there we have presented the light side of the Force, embodied by the Jedi, and the dark side of the Force, embodied by power and dominance, and the Sith. I mean, it's clear who the winner is. But
Host advantage.
but but we are going to let you guys decide who you think was or presented the better argument, who was better, and who won. And we'll see what you guys think. And if there is something else about Star Wars that you guys would like us to talk about, then please let us know in the comments, and we will choose that for our little short playlist, Ramble Shrapnel, and just talk about that for a little bit.
And guys, please, if you have not listened to the previous episodes, just quickly go listen to them. See a topic that interests you, listen to it, and join our different social medias. Discord channel, we have a Discord channel. We want to hear those comments from you. That's how we will pick the short little snippets of a next episode or the sub episode. And if we don't hear what you speak, then unfortunately that will keep on hold until eventually you guys start chatting to us. You guys can also comment on different ideas, different perspectives, and we would love to chat and then toss ideas against, have a discussion in Discord or in other social medias like Twitter, as well as our YouTube. We will eventually post these episodes as videos on YouTube, which you can comment. And please don't forget, guys, we are posting these things every Thursday, unless otherwise stated that we would only really get that message out to you through our social medias. So please, guys, join our different social medias. They'll be in the link of descriptions. You will find them in our Discord channel, which is quite, I'm saying Discord as many times because this is our main form of chatting. And maybe eventually
Yeah.
we'll start Twitch playing some games on a different side things, and we'll love your guys' involvement.
Yeah, if we do start a Twitch channel together, then it'll be the same format as we have for the podcast, where I will be bringing more of a cultural and historical and artsy fartsy kind of approach to the game, whereas Mackie will be like, "Oh, this building would collapse. Like
Basically,
this engineer should be fired."
yeah, we'll have lots of fun.
Yeah. But everybody, thank you for listening. We had a great time. We hope you had a great time. And we'll see you soon.
Bye bye.